Hey there, Postal here, and if I could type, we would get this done a little bit quicker. Alright, so today we are taking out the F4U-1. It was brought to my attention in Saturday's stream that I have not posted a video on this maybe ever. And honestly, if I have posted a video on this, it's from like 3 years ago and it's crap. This one might be crap too, but we're going to find out together. So what is this plane? Well, it's Tier 6 American multi-role fighter. Seems like I was just doing a review or a video on a Tier 6 American multi-role fighter a couple weeks ago. This is the other one. This is the one people tend to actually enjoy, though. It is a lot more maneuverable. A little less altitude, a little less airspeed. You've got 8 rockets, which take a really long time to reload. And so I've kind of gone all in on that. That being said, if you want a semi-tourney fighter that's American with 20mm cannons, well, then this is your little guy to fly, isn't it? The Corsairs in this game are incredibly maneuverable. For multi-roles, keep in mind we're not going to go dogfighting. We're not going to go dogfighting any yaks or anything like that. No Spitfire dogfights. But what we can do is, hey, I was about to shoot that, you bum. Oh, here we go. A couple rockets there. Ooh, hello, sir. What I do like about the plane is it's got a good punch. It's got just enough ability to actually be a multi-role. Like, good strong cannons. Just enough rocket power to do some rocket power-y kind of things. And let's move along to the center here at this point. Actually, yeah. And then we're going to move on to that mining facility, maybe? Or we'll push it along to... Let's say we're going to push along to their military base. S-199's getting chased down. He'll be dead soon. He is dead. So let's keep moving here. We might be able to... What are we going to do? What I love about this plane, though, is it can do everything. It really can. Where something like a P-47 can struggle, an FW-190 can struggle to defend a sector, the F4Us are actually quite good at it when I'm not fooling around making unnecessary turns or getting air defense aircraft taking my kills. Why are you taking my kills, boy? Alright, so got this bow fighter here you need to watch out for. We're going to defend the center here a little bit. Nothing quite inbound on me yet. Gotta watch the map. Hello. We are higher than we want to be, so our maneuverability is going to be negatively impacted by that. We really do want to get further down if possible. Let's go ahead and do that. Tornado here is very, very similar aircraft. Good strong 20mm cannons, good maneuverability. We should be able to outduel him. So yeah, right now we're just defending a sector, which is kind of nice to be able to do in a multi-role, especially one that actually hits pretty hard. Here we go. Knock out this bow fighter if we can. Get a little bit closer. There we go. Hey! Alright, now bombers we're not going to be able to do much against, right? We do not have the altitude performance here in a multi-role fighter. multi-role fighters in World of Warplanes just don't have that kind of altitude. And what we can do, though, who is this guy? Oh, shoot. Wish I would have seen that guy. I guess we're going to keep on defending. Our team's pretty well set up for the win in this instance. We've got 4 out of the 5 sectors. I'm actually going to get this S-199 first, simply because he's the more turny of the 2 planes. XP-44 is only really going to be a threat if I just sit there and let him give it to me. And I'm not in that kind of mood today. So he's not going to be too much of a threat. I say that and then I almost get rammed by him. Gonna get all kinds of defense. Well, it like disappeared into the clouds there. We get all kinds of defense kills here today. Yeah, so we've been defending the hell out of the center sector here. And, you know, this plane just does that really well. It also does a good job of actually attacking sectors. We'll see if we can get that in the next gameplay here. We're really having to deal with this P-39. I was actually wondering how this plane was going to cope with that. But it looks like the enemy team's just not really able to out-capture us here. We were able to actually get a Guardian in this situation, something that you can't necessarily get in every multi-role that's out there. And, yeah, pretty easy to be honest. Let's head on back. Alright, so second battle in here. We are in another Tier 6 battle. P-38J on the enemy team, a bow fighter on the enemy team. I recognize the bow fighter, so we'll have to watch out for him. We've got an ME-410 on our team, so lots of specialized planes here. Let's go ahead and get on to the military base, right? If we can get the military base, that will certainly help us. There's an A6M we're going to have to deal with, and a Lag 3 we're going to have to deal with. But as far as multi-roles are concerned, you know, I can outmaneuver hurricanes. Tornado is going to be kind of sort of difficult, but not unsurmountable by any means. Keep in mind, we've got rockets, so I tend to play with my rockets as supplemental. What I mean by that is, like, I'll drop a bomb expecting to be able to get the entire part of that sector, right? Knock out an entire section. Whatever the terminology is World of Warplanes uses for it. Rocket, like, I don't know, I can put all 8 down and still not get that little section. So, for me, it's always best to wait until my friendlies start doing some ground damage, and then I use my rockets to complete the process. So, prime example would be, you know, right here, and there, and there, and there. See? Getting little rockets to get little different sections. Didn't have to do too much damage, just able to knock out what the friendlies weren't able to take care of. In this instance, we're also able to get this JU-88P. So I really do like the Corsairs. Some of my favorite multi-roles in the game. They can struggle nowadays with the specialization. It's just the way of the world at this point. You know, specialization, especially in the mid-tiers, makes a huge difference. It's funny, at high tiers, like, I feel like you can get a stock tier 10 and still do really well. But if you're in a, you know, in an elite tier 6, you can have some struggles just because you're going to run into things like, I don't know, specialized P-38s, that kind of stuff. See if I can get my guns on target here. Feel like my guns did not want to actually hit the target that was right in front of me, which is kind of weird and annoying. PE2, which kind of makes sense, all things considered. Got another specialized something or other. Okay. It's gonna turn it back in on me. I really want to get rid of this fighter, to be honest. The unfortunate thing of this plane is the rockets, excuse me, take forever to reload. It's one of the reasons why I set my plane up the way I did, because I figured if they're going to take 2 minutes to reload anyway, let's not, you know, focus on getting that lowered. Let's actually focus on getting our airspeed boosted. Let's see if I can get away from this situation. Got my wing knocked out, unfortunately. Tornado's going to be kind of crank-a-link thing to fight right now anyway. Much less with... Oh no, I don't want to ram him. Knocked out his engine, which is very nice. Probably could use pneumatic control assist here to really get on him. Don't need it. Alright, so we've got the center section here, which I mean is bound to happen once you've got a military base. The center section is just continually going to be flipped back and forth. Let's go ahead and see if we can get their military base. We've still got our rockets. We've still got an ability here. Our ME-410's doing some work, so that's good. We're not having to do all this on our own. Problem is I don't have a hell of a lot of hit points, and I don't know if I mess up this interaction with the lag, I could end up dead very easily. Luckily he doesn't know that I'm here. So that wasn't the worst thing in the world.
The enemy is launching rockets at us from the military base. Take action.
Fortunately, the friggin' flak's gonna kill me here more than anything else. God dang. Let's get down. Bad getting too high on the altitude here. See if I can use my rockets there. Did. Let's go ahead and see what we can do versus this guy. Dang it! That's annoying. Oh man, I wish I could have gotten my guns on target a little bit better there. Could have easily gotten that sector flipped. Would have made life much easier. Just annoyed with myself there. So let's respawn in the center. Hopefully we can hang on to the center for at least a second here. Thank you. Knock out this Hurricane 2, maybe. Well, definitely. It's unfortunate it won't count towards anything other than a kill. See this heavy fighter inbound, so let's turn towards him to make it more difficult to get us. Putting my pneumatic control assist on here.
Way to go. Victory is close.
Oh man, it would be super swell if I did not have a Hurricane 2 on literally one hit point on my bum. Let's try to turn sideways where my speed will actually help me here. Or maybe not. The P-38's gonna kill me. One frickin' hit point. I'm so annoyed with that. Unfortunately, not able to just turn in a circle where I can outturn a Hurricane 2. Trying to dodge P-38 fire and all that stuff. So, well, let's just go ahead and respawn and head to the center again. Should be able to take it back, I'm hoping, especially with the military base assist. We've still got 5 of our rockets. Get rid of that guy. If it's at all possible. Unfortunately, just used up my pneumatic control assist and my engine cooling. Go. I gotta dive down because here comes heavy fighter. See if I can get my cannons on target here. that off, let him reload a little bit. Didn't get the kill, unfortunately. But we'll take an assist. Sometimes all you can get is an assist. PE2 we should be able to reach. I'm actually going to try to angle... Oh, never mind. I think the game will be over by the time we get there. So, so this battle is a better all-around representation of what this plane can do.
Victory is ours.
And a little bit more hard-fought of a battle, to be honest. Let's head on back. All right, so for our first battle, we got just 9 kills, basically all of them defending there. I think actually no, we did a couple in the attack. To get that first sector, the only sector we helped capture. Did a little bit of ground damage. This first battle really didn't show the full capabilities of the plane. So let's take a look at the second battle here. All right, so second battle of the day, much more well-balanced, right? The first one, what would we do? Like 11,000 and just defended a sector because the enemy team didn't want to capture, and that's all we needed to do. This battle wasn't like, overly ground attack focused, but honestly, the F4U-1 is not overly ground attack focused. The focus on the F4U-1 really is air-to-air combat, but in a multi-role type of way. You don't want to be getting into dogfights with turning type planes. When I was attacking the A6M, for instance, I wasn't like, hey, let's go, I'm going to go get myself into a dogfight with him. I made sure that I was attacking from an angle and in a process that allowed me to get my guns on target and whittle him down very, very quickly so that I wasn't stuck in a turn fight with him. Same with the lag, for that matter. It's funny that the one plane that was really outturning me was freaking Hurricane 2, but that had more to do with me trying to avoid getting killed by a P-38, I think. I could be wrong when I go back and look at this. Overall, we had good help from our ME-410, no arguments there. But we were able to do what needed to be done. And that's what I like about some of the multi-rolls in this game, and specifically about the Corsairs. You can do what needs to be done. They are not as ground attacky as the P-47s. P-47 that I reviewed last week clearly has nice sized bombs, has little rockets, can do a little bit of everything, right? You've got more rockets that actually do a little bit more damage than the rockets on the P-47, but you don't have the flexibility of being able to drop bombs on the F4U-1 once you've specialized it. But you can turn like it's nobody's business, and that's a really good thing in my opinion. It just allows you to get these really nice cannons on target. So it's very funny to have two multi-role fighters from the same nation be so dissimilar. And so let's take a quick look at how I've got my F4U-1 set up, and I'll just reinforce how I recommend flying it. So keep in mind, mine is specialized. All right, so first things first, let's look at the actual plane and the guns. So your damage per second is going to be 90. 20 millimeter cannons on these American multi-role line. This particular multi-role line are really nice. Very, very similar to the Tornado, to the Hurricane 2, those kind of 20 millimeter Hispanos. These are copies of those particular guns. And so, very similar characteristics. If you liked the British multi-role line, there's no reason why you won't like the F4U-1s and F4U-4s and the F2Gs. The Corsairs, the actual F4Us at tier 6 and 7, it's kind of a toss-up as to whether the Tornado and Typhoon are better than the F4U-1 and the F4U-4. Whichever one floats your boat, really. At tier 8, I do believe the F2G is going to be the better plane. But that's personal opinion, I suppose. But as I was saying, the 20 millimeter cannons on this plane, if you really think about it, this is the only American line that has just 20 millimeter cannons. Your heavy fighters kind of bounce around a little bit. Your light fighters, don't have 20 millimeter cannons at all until tier 9, and then it's just one plane that has them. And so if you're looking for 20 millimeter cannons early on, this is definitely the line you're going to want to go down, because you can get them here at tier 6 and onward, all the way up to tier 10 on this line. And so, so just keep that in mind. You've got good maneuverability, reasonable airspeed, and your rockets are great for supplemental attacks, like we showed in this previous battle. I really do focus on using the rockets from time to time on this plane. Unlike on the P-47B, where I feel like to get the most effectiveness out of it, you want to be dropping those bombs and rockets as often as possible. Or even on something like the Tornado, where I believe the reload time on the rockets is like 60 seconds or maybe 90 seconds. The reload time on the F4U-1 is 120 seconds. It's kind of significant, right? And so rather than focusing on, getting my rockets out and waiting 2 minutes for them to reload, I kind of just use them when it's helpful to use them. I don't necessarily focus on utilizing the full output of the rockets on this plane, or the F4U-1 for that matter. I just use them when I see a ground target of opportunity, and then I move along. The real focus of this plane is actually to utilize its cannons, utilize its maneuverability, take down aircraft that are weak and not paying attention, get them out of the battle, and be a force multiplier in the air rather than being a force multiplier on the ground. Just take advantage of the ground. All right, so as far as my service setup is concerned, I have gone ahead and completely given this kind of a balanced build. I do want to focus on the outboard weapons here for just a second. I've gone ahead with the aerodynamic pylons to help with the impact of the rockets on your airspeed. The reason being is because if my reload times are at 120 seconds, adding 9 seconds to that isn't the end of the world. And so I don't mind making the rocket reload speed even higher if I'm helping my airspeed not be too slow. The argument could be made to change this to strength and hard points. This will help your reload speed. The problem with that is it will impact your airspeed significantly. And I just don't find that lowering my reload time down to 107 seconds is going to be all that effective. Maybe if I could get it to be advanced and get it down to 90 seconds, maybe. But even then, you're just impacting your airspeed way too much, and that's not worth it in my opinion. The way that I play this plane is continue to use the rockets as supplemental, continue to keep my maneuverability and my cannons on target so I can be a pain in the butt against the air targets. Let's go ahead and just reset that. There we go. As far as my quote-unquote balance build here is concerned, there's two different ways you can do this. I've got my airframe with the maneuverability equipment, and I've got my engine with the speed equipment. You could flop that around and put a polished skin on here and a lightweight power unit on here. This would give you more airspeed and less maneuverability. I can see people doing that. The reason I tend to avoid the polished skin for a plane that I try to keep maneuverability on is the polished skin takes away from maneuverability. Yeah, my bonus characteristics in this particular polished skin actually give 1% to yaw maneuverability, but the overall maneuverability in turns is going to be impacted. And again, my mentality on this plane is get the guns on target, actually do some dogfighting versus other multi-rolls. You can outmaneuver the vast majority of planes that you run into that aren't going to be turn fighters. You can even outturn in a pinch things like a P-51A or a BF-109F with the build that I've got. But I could see people doing this kind of build if they wanted to have just a little bit more airspeed and a little less maneuverability. It's not the way I go for all the reasons that I've already gone over. So let's, I can just hit reset, can't I? So again, that way I've just got my ability to get my guns on target and dogfight a little bit more considering my build setup. I've gone with the collimator sight on here because that's really the only thing that you can go with. At tier 6 on a multi-role fighter, you're not going to put cockpit armor. That would just be silly. Don't do it. My consumables, like any fighter or multi-role fighter, not any, but 99% of them, I put first aid package. This plane does not catch on fire, just doesn't. I'm sure it will now that I said something, but it's more important to get your pilot back in and get your guns on target quicker. Pneumatic control assist to either get myself out of trouble or get that extra little push of maneuverability to get my guns on target quicker so I can knock out the plane in front of me and get on to the next one. That's really, really important. Engine cooling, again, really important. It's not a necessity, but this is definitely the item I'd go with. I don't get the engine knocked out all that often. And putting on improved mixer controls isn't going to have as big of an impact as having engine cooling, giving that 10 seconds worth of boost from time to time. I'll save my boost if I'm in a situation where I know I've got to deal with a heavy fighter, or I know that I need to deal with a light fighter, human specialized A6M5 or something like that, where I need to boost away. I will save my boost for those situations. If I'm not in a scenario, if I'm not in a battle where I know that I need to get away from somebody, I'll just use it to get from sector to sector sometimes, or I'll use it to try to get bombers, use that extra 10 seconds of boost to try to get to a higher altitude, higher bracket than you normally would want to be in this particular plane. I have gone ahead and put improved fragmentation on here, because why not? If you're going to use rockets, you might as well have them do more damage, right? And so that's my setup on the F4U-1, a plane I really, really do enjoy. Keep in mind, I've also got speed paint on here, so that can help. That's helping my airspeed as well. Your setup might differ just because of that kind of differences that we've got on the equipment and my paint. And so this is the type of setup. This is the kind of way that I play this particular line. In fact, try to keep yourself relatively down low. You will lose a lot of airspeed, and maneuverability will be severely impacted once you get up into the yellow altitude. And use your guns to the best of your ability. These cannons can definitely melt down enemy targets pretty well, whether they're heavy fighters, multi-roles fighters, ground attack planes, bombers. These cannons at tier 6 are stellar. They're awesome, and I love it. I love the way that this plane and this line works. Being able to turn just enough to get some dogfight battles in, but also have some of these rockets to just get some ground targets knocked out as well. Always helpful and always appreciated. Keep in mind also, I've only got a 4-point pilot and only 2 points are actually being used for skills. I'm using Marksman 1 on here, and I'm almost certainly going to be going with Marksman 2 on this plane afterwards. Then eventually Aerodynamics Expert is not going to be like a top priority for me. I'll probably actually do Aerobatics Expert before I do Aerodynamics Expert. Aerobatics, yeah, they're both experts. Good for that. And then push to get the Engine Guru 1 and Engine Guru 2. Again, it's not that airspeed's not necessary on this plane. It's just not the focus. It's not how I find success in the plane. Your results may differ, but I really do find more success mindfully dogfighting. Don't just go throw yourself in a dogfight every time you get a chance. It's more important to use your cannons and get the enemy knocked out before you even get into a dogfight, and then rely on your maneuverability if you're against a plane that you can actually do that with. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. Like I said, we were talking about this particular plane, the specific plane, on stream Saturday night. It was requested that I do an updated video since I haven't in a while. Honestly, if even if I had a video on this from 2 or 3 years ago, it's not going to be relevant anymore, considering how much the game's changed slightly, but more impactful is my mentality on the game and my abilities in the game have changed. So my perspective on how to make the planes work better is going to be, I think, better now than it would have been 3 years ago. So even if I had one from 3 years ago, now would be a better time to do it. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Do you fly your F4U-1 the same way? Is this a plane that you enjoyed or you didn't like and you just wanted to get past it so you could get to the F94D because everybody loves the F94D? I'd love to hear your responses in the comments down below. Or otherwise, you can hop in my Discord, link in the description. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.